Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to score using HockeyShift Player Stats Pro. So once you're in the scoring interface, you'll be on the Roster tab. The first thing you want to do is roster your players. There's two ways to do it. So you can click this box here at the top, this checkbox, and it selects all the players. Or you can just click off the players individually. You notice this little green dot here. It's an autosave, so once you've clicked on the player, it's saved it to the system, so it turns green to let you know. And by default, the first goalie it selects, it puts as your starting goalie. If you were to have two goalies rostered, then you can click and it would show the other goalie here, and you can click on and change your goalie if you want to. By default, it pulls in the player's number that is set on their team in the stats backend, but you can go in and say if they're playing with a different number, then you could change their number for that game. The next thing is adding a player. So you may not have permission depending on your league settings, but if you do, you can click Add Player here at the bottom. And there's three kinds of players. There's an active player, which is just an active member of the team. There's a call-up player in the event they're playing for the team this game, but they're not really an official member of the team. And then there's Game Spare. Game Spares are just a player in which it just records the information to the game, but it doesn't actually create a player at all. So if you have permission, you can create a new player. So we'll just create John Smith. We'll create him number 45. And you can choose their position. So we'll just make him defense. And then we'll say add. And now there's John Smith. It automatically rosters him and puts him in the lineup. So I'll just add the rest of the players here. Now we'll add the coaches. So at the top, next to players, there's the coaches tab. So we'll click that. And you can click off the coaches that attended the game. This will also allow you to assign penalties to coaches if required. And same as players, you can add coaches as well. So once you're ready and happy with your roster, then you can either click the score button at the top here, the tabs, or you can click continue to score game. Now that you're in the scoring interface, all of the scoring will be done from this interface. So the first thing to note is this period and clock up here. So by default, it pulls in puts it the first period and pulls in the period length that your league uses. So once play has started, you can either click on the start play button with your mouse, or you can push space on your keyboard, and it will start the play. You can just hit space on your keyboard if you want to stop it, or you can just click to stop it. Now that the clock is running, I'll show you how to add a goal. So your main gameplay or event actions are right here. Now you may not see all of these actions, it's depending on what your league decides to track, but in this case I'll show you all the options. So we'll click on the goal button. As well, there's shortcuts too. Just like there was spacebar to stop and start the clock, you can hit H for home or A for away, and then you can push the corresponding actions. So HG would be goal. If you want to see the different shortcuts, you can click this little dotty menu up here, and then you can click the shortcuts, and it shows you the different options for the different shortcuts you can use. So we'll hit H on our keyboard, and then we'll hit G, and it'll take us into home goal. So it shows all of the players on the home team. So you can now click the player you want. You can choose the assist. If there's a second, maybe there wasn't a second assist, you don't have to put one. By default, it knows what goalie is in the net, so you don't have to put the goalie. And then the next is the strength, whether it shows you even strength, shorthanded, power play. So we'll leave it as even strength. Now this is an optional field. We'll just say what type of goal it was scored, so maybe it was a wrist shot. Now if you notice down here on the bottom, it shows the on ice. So in the event that you want to track the on ice, which players were on the ice when the goal was scored, you can just click on the guys down here, and then you can click Save. So one other thing to note about adding a goal, which I didn't go over, was right here on the period, it pulls in as soon as you click on the goal button or hit HG, it pulls in the exact clock time up here. So it's kind of saves you putting it in. Automatically populates it for you. Now if you want to adjust it, maybe it was off slightly, you can still edit this and adjust it, but it pulls it in automatically for you. So next thing is penalty. So if you click on the penalty button or hit HP for home penalty, then you'll see the penalties. Now it's broken down by the different types of penalties, whether you have a minor, bench minor, double minor, and you can click these, and then you can click on the item here if you like this. But you can also just start typing what you want. So if I want to bring up a slashing penalty, I can just type slash, and now it auto completes and it shows me the different options. So maybe it was a 2-minute minor slashing penalty. So then after you've put in what type of infraction it was, it takes you to the penalty details screen, in which case you can assign the penalties. And just like I mentioned before, you can assign to coaches if you want. But let's say this was a player, so it was number 22. If you want, it's an optional field. You can choose who drew the penalty, and as well, if it's maybe a player's ejected and someone else is serving the penalty, you can put in a served by. The PPO is the power play opportunity. So in the event that this penalty is generating a power play opportunity for the team, then you would leave this checked off. If there was maybe 2 roughing penalties and they were offsetting and there was no power play opportunity awarded, then you would uncheck that. So that helps with the power play statistics for the team. So we'll save that. Next thing is a player shot. So we'll click on shot. We'll say who the shot was taken by, and then you can say the result. By default, it chooses a save, but you can say missed, block, crossbar, post. If you choose, see blocker is disabled because it was just a save, but if you choose blocker, then it opens up the blocker field and you can say who it was blocked by. Additionally, you can say the type of shot if you want, that's optional, and then we'll just go ahead and click save. Next one is face-off. So you would click face-off, and then you would choose the home player that's taking the face-off, the away player that's taking the face-off, and then you can watch and see the result of the face-off, and then you can click who won the face-off. The next play is a turnover. So if there's a turnover on the ice, then you can say, okay, 22 from the home team gave it away, and then the taker was, say, 56. So when you click turnover, it's assuming that whichever side you click the turnover button on, that team turned it over. So in this case, the home team would be turning it over. In this case, the away team. And then the home team would be the taker if the away team was the turnover team. The next one would be hit, if there's a hit on the ice. So you could say who was the hitter that did the hit, and then who was hit. And save that. Pulling goalies. So if you want to pull a goalie, say the clock's running, it's maybe third period late in the game, and you want to pull the goalie, you can simply just click on the goalie, and then it automatically knows the goalie's in the net, so it highlights pull. You can choose change if you want as well, if you're doing a goalie change, but by default it's pull, and then it knows that there's no goalie replacing, it's empty net because you're pulling. So we'll say save, and it'll display that the net is empty up here. Now maybe if the goalie is coming back, then you can click on the empty net and automatically select return. But you could do change. Or you can also click on these gray buttons right here, just change goalie, and then this lets you just completely pick the team and the action. So there's a few different ways to pull the goalie, but the easier way is to click on the linked goalie's name up here. Penalty shots. So if there's a penalty shot, you can click on this gray button right here, and you can put in which team taking it, the shooter, whether they scored. You can say yes, and then there we go. So that'll automatically add the goal for you. You don't have to add the goal. And in the event they didn't score, then it'll still record the action that they had an attempt on the website, but they didn't score. Timeouts. If there's a timeout, you can click right here on the timeout button. You can choose when it was taken and which team took it. Next action is shootout. If your league has shootouts and it goes into a shootout, you can click the shootout button. You simply just put the round in, the team shooting, the shooter that shot, and whether they scored. And you can say round 1, that was the home, away, shooter. So maybe if you just had a 1-round shootout, then this would result in the away team winning. You don't have to, it automatically adds the goal to the winning team automatically gets an extra goal and wins the game based on the results of who scores and who doesn't score. So that's all taken care of for you. So I click back to score a game. The plays at the bottom here. So by default it shows all of the plays that a team has. But if you want, and the newest play comes to the top automatically. Now if you want to, you can filter the plays just by certain things. So if you want to see just the goals that were scored, just the penalties, just the penalty shots, you can use these filters right here to view that way. But these are the plays. Now if you want to edit a play, so if a goal was scored So let's find that goal. Here's the first goal we put in, so we'll click Edit. And if maybe there was a third assist, then, or second assist, sorry, then you can click and add the second assist and click Save. And then now that's saved. And you see it was orange, and then it turns to green when the action has been saved. Up here, there's a little dotty menu. There's a few things to note up here. You can switch the sides if you want. If you want to put the away team here and the home team there, you can click Swap Sides, and now it puts swaps the sides for you. The game sheet. The game sheet, if you want to get to a game sheet, you can click the dotty menu and click Game Sheet here, or there's a game sheet link right here in the bottom right corner there. There's a full screen button. Right now I have it in full screen mode, but if you want, you can click this icon here and it will pop your scoring interface into full screen and hide your browser bars. And then you can just hit Escape or F11 or click on the icon to get back out of full screen. Once the game is complete and you want to make the game final, then this is the game status right here. In the event too that you need to forfeit a game, then there's a home team forfeit, an away team forfeit, a home and away forfeit. You could even cancel the game as well. If you forfeit a game, then it'll ask you if you want to keep the stats recorded on the game or clear them out. So the game, say the game is final, so we'll click Final, and then the box turns green, and now the game is final, and it will apply to standings. And it'll count a loser and a winner, or the result of the game will count. At the top here, there's some notable tabs. Once you've added a shootout, then you can get back into it. It automatically creates a tab, or you can just click the shootout button. That's why that's up there. Details, so these are the details of the game. If there's a game number associated with it, the type of game being regular season, the time zone of the game, the date time of the game. If you want to put in the actual time, maybe it's 7 game, but it doesn't start till 7:12. You can put the actual start and end time. There's the facility if you want to record the rink. This is a tickets link for if you want to promote tickets for the game to a ticket seller. A watch live link if there's a stream link to watch it. This is a game attendance link, so if you want to put in how many fans attended, so maybe 5,400 fans attended, you can put that in. The next tab is officials. You want to put the officials that work the game. So you click type here, and then you would choose linesman or referee, whatever official you want to put in. So we'll just add one. So that guy worked the game, John. The next game, at the end of the game, you might want to put in the stars. So you can put in, say, this guy here. There's your 3 stars for the game. Now, note I already set the game to final. You can still make changes to the game. You can still add actions, add plays, set official stars, things like that. After the game's already final, that's no problem at all. And lastly, notes up here. So these are the public game notes. These will display on the public website, on the game page, and then these are private notes for internal, just for your league to only see. These will not be public notes. Lastly, up here in the top right-hand corner, it says connected, and there's a green circle. This means that you are connected to the internet, that your scoring interface is connected. Now, it's scored over the internet, so you must have an internet connection to score. But if in the event that you're maybe scoring on Wi-Fi, or it's a spotty connection, or maybe even your connection drops out for a minute, you can continue to score the game. It will not affect the scoring, and as long as you don't close your browser tab that you're scoring in, then all of the changes that you've made will be saved into a queue in your browser tab. And then as soon as what happened is the plays will show up with the orange dot because they haven't been saved yet, but they'll still show up. And then as soon as your connection comes back, then the plays will automatically, you'll know your connection's back. It will save all those plays and it will turn them green. The whole interface is live saving, so you don't need to perform any kind of save action while you're scoring. Everything you do is automatically saved. As well, if you want to, jumping back to plays here, if you want to delete a play, if you made a mistake, then you can just use the delete action here, and you can remove plays if you want to. That's actually everything, I think, to scoring with HockeyShift. So thanks very much for watching.